Hello, party people. Welcome to another exciting episode of Honest Trailer Commentaries. Today's movie is Scream. Ooh, feel that little chill in the air in LA. It just dipped below 80 for the first time in months. And it's time to get Halloweeny with my favorite Halloweenies, Lon Harris, Joe Starr. Thank you for joining me.
Of course. Time to go back to Woodsboro.
Back to Woodsboro. Going, back. If you haven't seen the show before, we're going to talk about the Honest trailer for Scream, which you should probably watch first. Our behind the scenes, we'll go into a little more depth and detail about what we thought about the movie. And afterwards, we'll play some deleted scenes. Then we'll respond to comments from the video itself and from in the chat to one of these directions of my face. Write questions in that chat. And then we will tease you with what next week's Honest trailer is going to be. But this week it's Scream. And I rewatched Scream for the first time in, I don't know, I watch it pretty regularly. It's like one of my favorite horror movies. It's really good. Holds really up. Good. Yeah, it's very fun.
The first one in particular, I mean, they're all pretty good. They're all pretty good, but the first one in particular is really great.
Look, hot take here, guys, but I like this movie a lot, and I watch it annually, and it's very good.
Yes.
Anyway, bye.
See ya. See you next week.
End of commentary.
Well, why is it great? I like it a lot because it's... when you kind of exhaust the possibilities of a genre, that's when I think you need to go meta. And in this movie's case, going meta adds a layer of realism to me that other slasher movies don't have, because it's a slasher movie in a world where slasher movies exist, which is what would happen if there was one right in my room right now. It would be like, oh, this is just like that movie.
Yeah, I mean, every Friday the 13th movie opens with the kids going to camp, and there's like, don't go to Camp Blood, they'll kill you. And they're like, ah. And like, right, in our world, you'd be like, maybe we shouldn't go, because that's what happens in every movie when the kids go to a place called Camp Blood. Right, so... yeah, like you don't have to do that thing where you remove awareness of don't go into a horror movie type situation. Yeah. I also think it works well because it's not just a parody. Like, it also is a slasher movie being made by one of the originators of the genre who really gets how they actually work. So it's doing both, and I think that's why it holds up so well. It is a bona fide horror movie that just works as a horror movie even without the jokes.
The interesting thing to me, too, about the parody aspect of it is it fascinates me, too, that when they were making it, they were like, no, sell the script and sell the cuts as a comedy to the studio and to whoever. Like, tell them it's a comedy and they'll get it. And I've never, like, yeah, it's meta, but I've never, like, seen this movie really as a satire or a parody, and I think that's the mastery of like the balance that he takes, because it's meta, but it's not like I don't know, Deadpool like nudge at the fourth wall.
Right.
Meta.
I think that horror and comedy have so much in common. Namely that, like, for both of them to work, you need the element of surprise. Like for a joke or for a scare, it needs to be something you didn't see coming. And in a horror movie, when they're like, yeah, we know you've seen all these horror movies, we know what you think is going to happen, that ratchets up the intensity and the possibility for scares, because it's like, oh, they're on to us. They know exactly the medium that they're working in, so I'm not going to get the same thing that I expect as a person who's seen a million horror movies.
Yeah.
So,
right, yeah, and I think a lot of that is it's like the fidelity to the genre. It's like not treating it as something silly to goof on, but taking it really seriously and trying as best they can to like recreate it. Like, I think that's what works so well about, you know, like what Lonely Island does, or like what Mel Brooks does in Young Frankenstein. Like, the parody works so well because it's immediately recognizable. Like, this is exactly what a slasher movie is like, so that the jokes really hit, because we immediately have that shock of recognition.
Yeah. So you scream, I scream, we all scream for Scream Scream. Let's watch the honest trailer for Scream and see how we managed to wring some jokes out of this already funny and really good movie. Hit it. Oh, pause. If you guys don't feel up to the task, we could just talk about the Jiu Jitsu movie trailer that Joe sent before the show, where Nick Cage and Tony Jaa fight a Jiu Jitsu predator in the jungle.
Yeah, I believe Frank Grillo is in the mix as well. Don't discount his efforts.
You got look. I would not normally say click out of this video and go watch another video, but in this case, I think it's important that you just bail and go watch
The movie is called Jiu Jitsu.
You would have it just once every cycle of the moon or whatever. An alien beats Earth who knows Jiu Jitsu, I guess.
Does he, or does he demand he fight somebody?
Yeah,
who knows
it seems
jiu-jitsu?
like it's like a predator. Like the alien is challenging humanity to like show me what you got, but like in fighting instead of music. And then, yeah, we send Tony Jaa and Nicolas Cage for some reason.
They oblige.
There are avatars. All right.
Oh, okay. Anyways, back to Scream. Welcome back to this video. Let's go watch Scream.
Moulton, we cannot hear.
Yes, for what it's worth, Moulton, I cannot hear the video. So, jiu-jitsu, right?
They're in like the jungle, because when you're fighting a predator, that's where you go.
Yep.
I mean,
okay.
Oh, okay, we're ready. All right, fine. Back to Scream.
From the man whose mere name conjures up visions of horror, except for that one Meryl Streep movie he made,
Okay, that's enough. Thank you.
comes the maestro's meta deconstruction of the horror genre.
There was no movie. There was only her life.
The maestro's second meta deconstruction of the horror genre. The good one. Scream.
Pause. People really stand up for New Nightmare. I remember the tone being off in a way that Scream wasn't. Like the balance was off. But hey, you do you.
Well, I mean, I think he had the. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's hard to pull off the I don't know, the crazed script meta. I don't know. It's like Carpenter did it with In the Mouth of Madness to some degree of success. I don't know. And Nightmare. New Nightmare. Look, okay. Here's my hot take. I don't love Freddy movies a whole lot. So a meta deconstruction of a Freddy movie, not necessarily my cup of tea. So I'm not unbiased, I guess.
I think that's kind of what I was going to say. Like, I think that movie, I like New Nightmare, but I do think he has the difficulty of balancing. Like, it does have to be a Nightmare on Elm Street sequel. Mm-hmm. And he wants to sort of play these games and like wink at the audience and make it a deconstruction. Whereas I think Scream, he gets to, because it's its own new concept, he gets to really do it the way he wanted to do it, and it feels like a fresher take. But I do like both movies.
Freddie has also, in agreement with the studio, just going back to the earlier movie, had his name not taken off, but completely minimized in Music of the Heart, because when you see Wes Craven, you expect a certain thing. So I imagine horror fans walking into that movie like, when's the
Streep's
killing
gonna murder
start?
all these kids. She's gonna kill these kids.
I would love that movie if Meryl Streep played like a disaffected middle school music teacher that started slaughtering her students. Like that movie's dope.
Yeah,
gold, Jerry.
Yeah, gold, Jerry.
All right, let's keep going.
Return to a simpler time when people left all of their doors unlocked. No one had cell phones.
What are you doing with the cellular telephones, huh?
True crime podcasts were books.
Your mother's murder was last year's hottest court case. Somebody was going to write a book about it.
And without Twitter, movie dorks had to get creative when it came to harassing women.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
Jason's mother, Mrs. Voorhees, was the original killer.
Wrong answer.
If this movie were made today, the mask would be an anime avatar. Meet Sydney. The version is...
I guess I don't have anything to add to that. Joe?
Nah, it's just true. I know a lot of people probably get mad about it in the comments and go, you're politics, but it's a funny joke, so...
Like, do you like scary movies? Name your 8 favorites. Those suck.
Debate me.
Debate me. Yeah. Would have been the catchphrase. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Scream 5 around the corner.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
Meet Sydney, the virgin is virgin, whoever virgined.
Thought maybe we could do a little on top of the glow stuff.
But this sweet, innocent girl is cursed with the worst social group of all time. There's Tatum, who's more concerned with partying than helping her friend.
Impromptu party tonight. My house.
Are you serious? Come on, Sid. For me?
Who is dealing with way scarier stuff off camera than on. Billy, a big Johnny Depp enthusiast. This Screen Junkies fan.
Obviously, they don't watch enough movies. This is standard horror movie stuff. There's a formula to it. A very simple formula.
This Cox.
Pause. You worked at a video store, right? Right, Lon?
Yes, many years.
Yeah, didn't you, Joe?
For a minute, but I probably don't have Lon's tales.
Yeah.
I worked at like a weird LA indie video store, not like a suburban blockbuster.
Yeah, no, I worked at a Blockbuster in the middle of Kentucky. The most interesting thing that happened to me was wondering why Four Brothers was so popular for so long.
Yeah, I did like a few weeks at a Blockbuster, but I not for any length of time. But yeah, for many years I worked at like a weird like former Laserdisc store that had turned into a DVD store.
Well, there you go. So yes, I think this Screen Junkies fan tracks.
Yeah, we'd have a guy there was a guy who'd come in and he had a list of every vampire movie ever made. It was long, and he was going alphabetically one by one, looking to watch every single one. That was like a typical day in my video store career.
It doesn't quite count, but I did work at a record store for a long time where before Saint Anger came out, Metallica's Saint Anger, he came every day. For like 2 months, and he was like a Wayne's World extra. Like he looked like a roadie at Wayne Stock, and would come in every day. This was in the Panhandle of Florida, so he's real. Come in every day, ask about St. Anger. We'd be like, "Nope, not today, man." And he'd be like, "All good, bro," and then get in his Camaro and leave.
You'd tell him like there was a release date. Like you would be like, "Not until July 17th, man."
I feel like you told him a lot, and then
I feel like you would. Yeah,
he was just spreading the gospel of Saint Anger, making sure you guys were hyped.
Anger.
Saint Anger around my neck. That's all I remember from that album.
Yeah.
But good for them. All right, keep going.
Your girl.
Formula.
This Cox.
When I say hurry, please interpret that as move your fat tub of lard ass now!
And Stu, a guy who does some of the most upsetting mouth stuff in horror since Ichi the Killer.
It was fun. Never alone.
Yeah. Come to think of it, everyone at this school is a monster.
Pause. It's just a personal thing of mine. I just find Matthew Lillard's mouth so upsetting. Just the stuff he's doing with it, that whole movie, everything is all like.
Yeah, there's so much of it. It's that. It's not that a little bit of it wouldn't be fine. It's like every scene he's doing.
Some of them you're like, okay, he just does mouth stuff. But some of them seem so choreographed that he had to practice them in front of a mirror, just like tongue, ooh, like he really.
Well, it's not just like a Matthew Lillard that like he doesn't do that in other movies. He like specifically like it's a choice. It's like this is what Stu would do. Yeah,
he doesn't do that as Shaggy.
No, he doesn't. He's not doing that as Shaggy all the time. That's like he's made a decision for this character.
Gave me the heebie-jeebies. I do not like that. That's my least favorite part of the film.
A lot of
like
people
Wiley Wiggins doing this in Dazed and Confused. Like he's making a choice. I
think Matthew Lillard kind of like became the under the radar like 90s sex symbol because of this movie and the upsetting mouth stuff.
Oh, because it's a large tongue.
Yeah.
It was this or SLC Punk, one of those two.
Yep.
Him and Dax Shepard. What is their deal with the devil?
Yeah. What's going on there?
Anyways, keep going.
Never alone.
Yeah. Come to think of it, everyone at this school is a monster.
Fairness would be to rip your insides out. They found Principal Henry gutted and hung from the goalpost. Let's go over there before they pry him down. Hey.
Except the cop. Weirdly, he's the only cool one.
You're underage, son. I'm kidding. Have a good time.
Suit up with a slasher who's all killer, no filler. Because while some horror icons spend their time talking trash or doing spooky vanishing acts, this Ghostface killer just bought the first mask they saw on the way to school.
They sell this costume every 5 and dime in the state.
giving you no safe spaces as he stalks you all over town, from the shrubbery outside of your own house, to the ladies' room, to the grocery store in broad daylight.
We have a slasher on aisle 4.
And busts into every fight, knife first, without a plan beyond stabby. You gotta respect the hustle, even if everyone is constantly beating the crap out of him.
All right, pause. We tried this with Jackass music. It didn't work quite as well. The original music cue was the one that we use in the Revenant Honest trailer, like it's a Jackass sound alike, and that one is great, but I guess we use a different sound library now, so Benny Hill it was. I think Jackass music and Benny Hill music are tied to me for making people falling down funnier.
I mean, Benny Hill is the classic. Like when you want to nod to like the greats of the genre, that's Benny Hill. I think like Jackass is like a fun modern alternative spin.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But anyways, we're talking about, I guess, Ghostface as a slasher, as an icon.
Right.
I don't know. Like all he's got going for him is that there's, spoiler alert, more than one of him. I thought it was really cool how they
actually.
Yeah, they kind of telegraphed that. I picked that up this time of the two Ghostface who run through the halls that Henry Winkler suspends. It's like two people wearing the costume.
Right.
Like, oh, they're kind of planting the seed right there.
My favorite thing in this rewatch was how hard Matthew Lillard's character is trying to spoil the movie, like right out the gate.
Well, I think that the whole thing, like they really hit home, like Billy is a killer, like over and over and over again, and then they try to like pull that back. But like when he comes into the room, they start playing "Don't Fear the Reaper." Like it's not subtle that they want you to think that Billy is a killer.
Yeah,
I do respect Ghostface's hustle. Like there's something to be said about a fast-moving slasher. It's like a running zombie. Like I appreciate a slasher that runs at you. Like the same with Happy Death Day. Like when he actually just starts hauling ass after her down that parking garage the first time, like that's a scary shot in Happy Death Day. I find a man who runs at you with a knife scarier than a Jason who slowly shambles with a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's nice to take a breather from the like lumbering. Like I feel like like so many films in this genre, it's like that the lumbering. It's like it's scary because it's methodical. Like he never gives up. He's just always after you. But in the immediate sense, in terms of like as an action film, like the kills in Scream are a lot more like exciting than a lot of these other movies because he's like roughly physically capable. It's like a young guy who can actually come after you.
It's definitely by design. Like I think Wes Craven definitely looked at the slasher genre and was like, what needs to change in this movie? Like what do we kind of need to comment on in this movie? And making them not unstoppable, like, undead druid powered, whatever. It changes the dynamics of the choreography, of the tension, of the pace.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, that is also a Freddy thing, is he's a lot more physically active as a menace than a lot of the typical slasher. Like, that's definitely something Wes Craven sort of leans into.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've always wondered, so Wu-Tang comes out, 94, something like that? Like, Enter the Wu-Tang, early 90s. You have Ghostface Killah.
36 Chambers?
36 Chambers, yeah. You have Ghostface Killah, and then Ghostface a Killer comes along in Scream 96. Is this why Ghostface Killah became Pretty Tony or Tony Starks? Was there a copyright battle over the name?
I mean, Ghostface Killah the rapper definitely selected his name prior to Scream. Like many years prior, I would think, for the formation of the Wu-Tang Clan.
From a 79 film called Mystery of Chess Boxing.
Right, but I mean, but the Wu-Tang Clan would have formed well before Scream was even a twinkle in Kevin Williamson's eye.
I'm just wondering if he was worried about confusion that he started referring to himself as perhaps the Wallaby Champ, perhaps
right,
Pretty Tony.
This is the origin of Tony Starks or whatever. Perhaps. I
think it was less copyright concern and more just eventually you just start adding nicknames. Like ODB was Big Baby Jesus, and Ghostface Killah became Tony Starks.
Well, there you go. And then Tony Starks came along, and then
Did they start calling the killer...
Adding titles.
Did they start calling the slasher in Scream Ghostface as a nod to the Wu-Tang Clan? That's the question.
I think it's literally what the mask was called. Because
that was the Ghostface mask?
The Ghostface mask, yeah.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
Interesting. All right, well, the more you know. Keep going.
So heat up some Jiffy Pop and revisit the classic that's packed full of nods to other horror movies.
Would you call me? Not your friend.
And when they can't think of a nod, they just say the name of a horror movie you like out loud.
The Exorcist was on.
It's the town that dreaded sundown.
How many Hellraisers?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Silence of the Lambs.
Terror Train.
The Howling. Psycho.
Friday the 13th.
Prom Night.
Candyman. Carrie.
Halloween. And what movie is this from? I spit on your garage.
In this innovative slasher that rescued a genre that was drowning in bad sequels and remakes, only to eventually drown in its own sequels and remakes. But still, it not only saved horror at the time, it managed to kill off the spoof movie too.
Do you like spoofy movies?
You should see how we pee.
Not anymore. Starring. I know who your mom did.
Yeah, I guess Scream led to what would then go on to ruin the spoof movie.
Yeah.
Which is...
Right. Scream begat Scary Movie, which then begat all of those horrible...
Superhero movie, which
epic
begat...
movie, right.
There's a very...
What are those guys' names? Yeah.
I don't know.
The Zucker... Oh, no.
No. There's two guys who worked on Scary Movie who then the Wayans threw away everything they wrote, but those were the two guys that ended up doing all these other...
Yeah. The only thing I remember about them
Spartans.
Now... Yeah, like, at some point after Meet the Spartans came out, like, you know how, like, the trades...
Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer.
Like,
those are the
you know how, like, the trades are, like, movie news, TV news, and also what actors are selling their house for some reason. After Meet the Spartans came out, there was, like, he, like, sold his home, and it was just this giant, beautiful thing built with money from Meet the Spartans. And
so proud of him. Great job remembering Gangnam Style. Well done, sir.
Really, now you guys know how
you nailed that reference to that thing people liked 4 years ago.
Man.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, this definitely.
Do they, Spencer? Do they?
Someone's going to do it.
Do they have to?
They don't have to.
Okay.
But yeah, this Scary Movie definitely was the first domino in killing what gave us Naked Gun and National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1.
Interestingly, those guys actually, they started off as the writers of Spy Hard, the Leslie Nielsen one. So they it really is like a generational shift. Like they came in at the tail end of the Zucker Abrahams era and then pivoted it in this horrible new direction.
God, can we take that crown already? Can we kill them and take their jobs? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
that's how it works in Hollywood, right?
Why aren't we writing the out of step parodies of stuff that was popular 4 years ago?
Yeah, I want to make Iron Man do the WAP dance.
Oh, don't give them ideas, Spencer. My God. Gold.
That'll be $10 million.
Oh my God, that's gold.
Okay, let's finish this up.
I know who your mom did last summer. Never been killed. I'll be there for you when the blood starts to pour. Oh, skeet, Mr. Ulrich. In the garage, I feel safe. Mountain Dewy. Like zoinks! Am I a Ghostface? Slice Principles. And Mark Wahlberg talks to animals.
Say hello to your mother.
Okay, donkey.
Hey guys, look, we did it. We referenced the thing that was funny for
That's what they were actually going to call it.
Boom.
You know what's really the scariest part of the movie? This cheerleader who takes a dump, then sticks her finger in her mouth without washing her hands.
Disgusting. Yeah, there
you really did that stunt for the movie. That's not a stunt person at all.
And she took a real dump every take, like David Fincher
effects,
style.
Yeah.
She had to.
Wes Craven, but perfectionist.
There's only one thing I think that I didn't bother to put in the script that I noticed, which was that everyone's wearing like knit t-shirts, which I found to be kind of odd in the summer. Like all their Billy's shirts and Sydney's and stuff like that, they're all short sleeve, but they're like a chunky material, which is like when it's fall, but you don't want to commit. No one owns a regular t-shirt in this movie.
Maybe it's like for better stabbing, like it absorbs the blood better when you get stabbed. So it was a creative choice.
No, I think anyways, the person just hit the clearance rack at like Pacific Sunwear.
Or I mean, it could be to suggest like new school year, fall, back to school. Like maybe it was a purposeful like visual choice.
Right.
They back
but it's hot outside.
Yeah. But it was like very sunny because where they were shooting or whatever.
Well, there you go. That was not worthy of even being written down. But let's see what we wrote down and then ended up cutting. Let's play those outtakes.
And without Twitter, movie dorks had to get creative when it came to harassing women.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
Well, Jason's mother, Mrs. Voorhees, was the original killer.
Wrong answer.
Friday the 13th is better than Nightmare on Elm Street. Prove me wrong. Debate me. A lady being extra mean to prove she's not just a sitcom actress.
When I say hurry, please interpret that as move your fat tub of lard ass now!
Except the cop. Weirdly, he's the only cool one.
You're underage, son. I'm kidding. Have a good time.
And that dude is nuts. And busts into every...
I haven't watched it. David Arquette is, I think it's Invincible, or David Arquette's Indestructible. Let me look up the doc. Basically, he's decided that he wants to do deathmatch pro wrestling, and it's a wild ride.
Well, he did that movie, Ready to Rumble, and he trained to do wrestling to be in the movie, and he just became fascinated and obsessed with it.
But yeah, it's a wild ride. Just watching him pull tacks and bits of PVC pipe out of his body while his wife just pretends to be as supportive as possible. I'm so glad you made this choice. Yeah, it's a wild dog.
Yeah.
Wow. And this is where the Arquette Cox romance bloomed, right? On the set of Scream.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. All right. What else we got?
And busts into every fight, knife first, without a plan beyond stabby stabby. Just one weakness when you're a killer who's only inspired by horror movies. You gotta mix in some crime procedurals. Fingerprints, you dorks. Packed so full of self-awareness, it's shocking no one broke the fourth wall.
Jim, look behind. Turn around. Behind you.
That's a cool moment.
Starring Party of One. Could you be any more in Scream? He's just a Skeeter boy. Hey, you guys remember the movie Doom Generation? That movie is weird. Do Lives Matter? Rookie Do. Officer on Duty. Howdy Dewey. Stewart slays his family. And We All Love You, Henry Winkler.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
I'm just glad these lunatics never saw Joker.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I was thinking my favorite... my other favorite meta horror movie that breaks the fourth wall is Funny Games.
Yes.
Which is Scream if it were genuinely disturbing and admonishing you for watching a horror movie in the first place. It's it's very bad in a good way.
Designed to make you actually feel bad about watching the movie you're watching.
Yeah, which is always great. But thank you guys. You should feel good for watching this show.
Yes.
Please subscribe if you haven't already and hit that like button and hit that bell so that you don't miss another video, which we make semi-regularly. Those are the outtakes. What else do we have? I think we have some comments from you guys. Let's see what you got.
Usually we do. There's some feedback always.
Chris A. wrote, the clue last week was we won't be monkeying around next week. I don't get it. How's that a clue for Scream? Ah, well, I see you're not a fellow man of culture like myself. I said it was monkeying around. Edvard Munch, the painter, famously painter of The Scream. And you obviously should have. That's a very national treasure. Edvard Munch, The Scream. They're doing Scream.
Yeah.
So, got to keep up.
You had to be kind of Batman and Robin to put that one together.
You got to definitely be on for at least 3 weeks to be like,
The Gotham Museum has an Edvard Munch collection going up this Friday. Good point, Boy Wonder.
Do we really need, Rob Filkins asked, do we really need a Scream 5 though? No. Do we need one? I mean, we don't have Wes Craven anymore, obviously. But I think there's more semi-meta horror comedies that are also scary movies to be made. And I'll give them this one. Let's see where this one goes. Then we'll make that judgment. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think with Scream, you've got a lot of leeway. One, because anytime you're doing another sequel, you can say like, well, but it's a parody of horror franchises that go on too long. So it kind of makes sort of an intuitive sense. And I think that, with especially if it's been a long time since the last Scream movie, you can always update the new movie because you've got new horror movies to like comment on. So, I mean, I think we talked about this before. Like, I think a Scream take on like A24 2020 era, like elevated horror would be really fun. And like, that's a thing that wasn't really around when they made Scream 3, Scream 4. So it's sort of a fresh thing for them to take on.
Yeah. Like a slasher who's actively trying to make you understand that he's a metaphor for depression.
Right. Like a play on, like The Witch or like Midsommar or like that kind of a horror movie that's so popular now, but wasn't around when Scream was a thing.
Yeah, totally. Ben Zaiten writes, was there an Alan in the Honest trailer? I don't know. There usually is. Kevin's been slipping them in so consistently, I don't even ask. I just assume that he's put it in there. So
yeah, I'll admit that Kevin usually tells us where they are, so I don't bother to like really scan and look for them because I'm just like, he's going to email and tell me where to look, but he didn't this time.
Please let us know if he did, or if he skipped it, we'll have to have multiple Allens the next time.
I'm going to confirm that it's definitely there, and you should just keep rewatching the video until you find it. It's very careful.
Yeah, even better.
You tell us where it is.
Micah Simpson asked, what was the first movie you remember being scared by? Well, I've told this story before. Mine was definitely Ransom, that my parents took me to see Ransom in theaters. I don't know why. It's not a horror movie, but it was about a kidnapped boy about my age, and they decided that would be the film to take me to. So let me think of my first horror movie while you guys answer.
Yeah. I only watched comedies for like my whole life, and then I went to a sleepover and we watched Child's Play, and I got really freaked out because it was literally the first movie that was even trying to scare you that I watched.
Oh wow, yeah. I saw The Nest way too young. It's like a cheesy, maybe late 70s, early 80s. I can't remember the year exactly. It was about cockroaches that kill people. And there's a scene where I think it's been a while, but this lady thinks her dad died, and he like comes into the room, and she's like, "Oh my God, Dad!" And they embrace, and you realize lots of roaches have just put his skin on. Well, it's that stayed here for a while.
Yeah, that sounds creepy. Yeah,
that and Garbage Pail Kids.
God, that's horrifying.
Yeah, that was definitely like unsettling. I don't know if it went full into it's like scared, but definitely creepy and problematic.
Yeah. I guess the first horror, I started with the best. I watched The Shining very early on and kept my eyes half closed the entire time as a young kid. So off to a good start. But yeah, Child's Play freaked the hell out of me. Oh my God.
Yeah. I was like 11, and I think it lulls you in because it's like, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that scary. It's like, there's a kid in this. It's about toys. Like, I get that the toy turns evil, but I was not expecting to be so freaked out by the end of that movie.
Yes. All right. Final question. You can give a one-word answer. Levetto writes, should we get a Scooby-Doo gory / creepy franchise? The gory, creepy update to Scooby-Doo. No, is my answer.
I mean, I would say no, if only because to keep it consistent with Scooby-Doo, it can't be supernatural. Like, it would have to be just like a murderer. Like, it's an old man actually killing people, which doesn't sound like that fun.
I'll say that if they're gonna do anything else post Venture Brothers, that's what I want to see the Venture Doc Hammer and Jackson Public hit next, is the Scooby-Doo style genre.
Yeah. Teen detectives in a van.
Well, I just don't see how you do it. There is a Scooby-Doo group in the Venture Brothers verse, right? There is, I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to be honest, once it got like 2 years between seasons, I dropped off. So
there are teen hippie detectives in the Venture Brothers that are like a Scooby-Doo. Yeah, the Groovy Gang, I thought.
The Groovy Gang.
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah. Mentally disturbed amateur detectives that solve mysteries that may or may not exist. Exactly.
God bless that show.
Perfect.
Oh, so good. So
and
yeah.
Groovy is the name of their Great Dane who comes along with that.
I would watch that spinoff. All right, that's all for this week. We're keeping the horror theme going next week, where you might get 2 horror movies in one. I'll just say that. That's your clue for next week. Please enjoy then, and I hope you enjoyed today on this week's episode of Honest Trailer Commentaries. Joe, Lon, thank you. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, do the thing. See you next week. Bye-bye.